I am the Watcher. I observe all that transpires across the multiverse. In your reality, the Silver Surfer betrayed Galactus to save Earth. But in this timeline, an unbreakable cosmic oath bound Herald to master forever. This is the story of what happens when loyalty becomes a prison and Earth faces a hunger that cannot be turned away.
The stars themselves seem to scream as silver light tears across the darkness above Earth. It's 2024, and humanity has survived Thanos. They've reversed the snap. They've buried Tony Stark and mourned T'Challa. They think they know what cosmic horror looks like. They're wrong. The silver figure cuts through Earth's upper atmosphere like a blade through silk, his board leaving trails of cosmic fire that make the northern lights look like birthday candles. Below, in Wakanda's command center, every alarm screams at once. Shuri, now bearing the mantle of Black Panther after her brother's passing, watches her fingers dance across holographic displays as readings spike beyond anything their vibranium-enhanced sensors have ever recorded.
What is that thing?
His new Captain America wings struggle against the gravitational distortions rippling outward from the Herald's approach. Doctor Strange hovers above the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Eye of Agamotto glowing against his chest, not with the Time Stone's green, but with protective magic's gold. His astral form has already touched the edges of this being's consciousness, and what he found there made him physically recoil.
It's not a what, it's a who. And he's been here before, marking us.
The Silver Surfer descends. But to understand why Earth's mightiest heroes are about to face their most hopeless battle, we need to go back. Back to before Iron Man first said, "I am Iron Man." Back to when the cosmos held different terrors, and a man named Norrin Radd made a choice that would damn billions. Picture Zenla in the early 2000s, a utopian world of crystal spires and eternal peace, hidden in a quiet corner of the universe, while Earth was still debating whether mutants existed. Norrin Radd stood on his balcony with Shalla-Bal, watching their 3 moons rise, completely unaware that above them, something older than their entire civilization had found them. Galactus didn't arrive with fanfare, no massive ship at first, no dramatic proclamation, just a shadow that fell across their suns, and suddenly every plant began to wither. The World Devourer's approach was like entropy itself accelerating. Not violent, just inevitable. When Norrin threw himself before the Devourer of Worlds, offering his service to save his people, the cosmic entity did something abnormal. See, Galactus had been betrayed before by heralds who developed conscience. He'd watched Fallen One rebel, seen Terrax attempt conquest. When Norrin Radd knelt and offered his soul, Galactus wove the power cosmic directly into an unbreakable oath. The transformation was unlike anything the cosmos had witnessed. The power cosmic didn't just coat Norrin in silver, it rewrote his very existence at a quantum level. Every atom of his being became bound to a single purpose: serve Galactus, find worlds rich with life force, never waver. The part of Norrin that might have resisted was locked away, not destroyed but imprisoned behind walls of cosmic energy that could only fall if Galactus himself chose to release them. Shalla-Bal watched her lover become something beautiful and terrible. But the transformation completed mid-sentence. The Silver Surfer's first words were different, hollow.
I serve Galactus.
Liking this story so far? Well, it would mean a lot to our channel if you could hit that subscribe button and share with your marvelous friends. Okay, back to the story. Between 2008 and 2012, while Tony Stark was learning to be Iron Man, while Steve Rogers was being discovered in ice, while Thor was earning his hammer back, the Silver Surfer moved through the cosmos like death's own messenger. The Kree Empire noticed first. 3 of their agricultural worlds simply went dark. Not destroyed in battle, not conquered, just drained. Scouts found only empty husks where oceans once teemed, atmospheres too thin to breathe, and always, always, the same signature. Paths of silver energy crisscrossing dead skies like an artist's signature on a masterpiece of destruction. Nick Fury, building his Avengers initiative in secret, received classified reports from sources he'd developed through Carol Danvers' old contacts. Whispers of something called a World Eater reached his desk.
We have enough apocalypses on Earth. Let's handle the ones knocking on our door first.
He told Maria Hill this while filing the reports away. If only he knew the Silver Surfer had already passed by Earth twice during those years, studying, cataloging, marking it for future consumption. The Herald's job wasn't just to find worlds. It was to rank them, to determine the optimal feeding sequence for maximum efficiency. Earth's unique properties, its unusual concentration of enhanced individuals, its vibranium deposits, its history with infinity stones, made it particularly rich. The Surfer marked it as a delicacy to be saved for when Galactus's hunger grew truly ravenous. Peter Quill danced through alien ruins to Come and Get Your Love, completely unaware that 3 star systems away, an entire civilization was taking its last breath. While the Guardians of the Galaxy fought Ronan for the Power Stone on Xandar, the Silver Surfer hovered at the edge of the system. His cosmic senses detected the stone's awakening, felt its purple energy pulse across space. For any other herald, this might have been a moment of temptation. Such power could break any oath, but the Surfer's binding was absolute. He simply noted Xandar's energy signature, now enhanced by an Infinity Stone's presence, and recalculated its priority in the feeding queue. The Collector, ancient and paranoid, felt the Surfer's presence like ice on his spine. In his collection, artifacts from consumed worlds began to resonate. Final recordings from dead civilizations, all showing the same thing. Silver light in the sky, then nothing. He pulled Gamora aside during their meeting.
The herald of the end times approaches, the silver death that precedes the hunger.
We have real problems to deal with, Collector.
The Nova Corps detected an anomaly at the system's edge, energy readings that didn't match any known spacecraft or entity. They filed it under Kree reconnaissance and focused on the immediate threat. But Irani Rael, Nova Prime, kept returning to those readings late at night. Something about them felt final. The Surfer watched Ronan fall, watched the Guardians save Xandar, watched the Power Stone get locked away. Then he turned his board toward darker space. Xandar would live for now. Galactus preferred to let civilizations ripen, to let their life force reach peak vitality before the harvest. The Surfer felt what might have been satisfaction in another life. Instead, he felt nothing. The oath allowed nothing else. Hela brought Ragnarok to Asgard, but she wasn't the only threat the 9 realms faced that year. Heimdall, even while fighting for Asgard's survival, saw everything. His all-seeing gaze caught glimpses of silver fire streaking through distant galaxies. More concerning, he saw the pattern. The Silver Herald was spiraling inward, each consumed world closer to the 9 realms than the last. During a brief respite in the battle against Hela's forces, he found Thor.
There's something you should know. A burning Star Rider approaches. Not quickly, but inevitably. I see him studying maps of Midgard, your beloved Earth.
After we save Asgard, we'll face this Star Rider.
But Asgard fell, and as the refugees fled on their ship, the Silver Surfer passed through the ruins of the Golden Realm, measuring the residual energy of a dead civilization. Even destroyed, Asgard's magical resonance was extraordinary. His calculations updated. Earth's priority increased. Any world that could spawn such power would feed Galactus well. Then came the moment that changed everything. Thanos snapped his fingers. Across the universe, half of all life dissolved to ash. The cosmic balance didn't just shift, it shattered. And in the deep void between galaxies, where Galactus slumbered between feedings, the Devourer of Worlds stirred with a hunger more terrible than ever before. Think about it from Galactus's perspective. Half the universe's life force vanished in an instant. The careful feeding schedule the Surfer had crafted over decades became meaningless. Worlds marked for consumption in centuries were now half empty. The energy required to sustain a being of Galactus's magnitude suddenly faced a supply crisis. The Surfer felt his master's hunger like physical pain. The oath ensured he experienced every pang of Galactus's need. He accelerated his scouting, moving faster than ever before. On Titan, as Tony Stark and Nebula played paper football in their dying ship, Doctor Strange's astral form detected something. Even scattered across atoms, his consciousness perceived a new threat emerging.
Something worse than Thanos is stirring.
But there was no one to hear. Earth jumped to the top of the feeding list. Its unique properties, the residual energy from multiple Infinity Stone events, its vibranium, its unusual concentration of enhanced individuals who survived the snap, made it the richest available target. The Surfer turned his board toward the Sol system, not yet to feed, but to prepare, to ensure that when Galactus arrived, there would be no delays, no resistance that mattered. Everyone returned. Bruce Banner's snap restored what Thanos took, and suddenly the universe teemed with life again. The celebration was universal. Earth had saved everyone, but restoration has consequences. Galactus woke fully, his hunger now beyond rational thought. Imagine starving for 5 years, then suddenly smelling a feast. The Devourer's World ship, a structure the size of Earth's moon, composed of technologies from 1,000 dead civilizations, began moving toward Earth with purpose. The Eternals felt it first. Cersei stood on a beach, watching humans celebrate their returned loved ones, when the sand beneath her feet turned cold. The celestial technology within her resonated with a warning. Something that had consumed celestial seeded worlds before was approaching.
Arishem's design may be the least of Earth's concerns.
Captain Marvel, patrolling the quantum shipping lanes near Hala, encountered refugees, not from war, but from consumption. Entire species fleeing inward toward the galaxy's center, speaking in terrified whispers of planets drained to husks in hours, of silver light that preceded the darkness. She arrived on Earth with news that made Steve Rogers' successor, Sam Wilson, sink into his chair.
The herald's been spotted in 3 systems. Earth is next. Not eventually, next.
The call went out, not just to Avengers, but to everyone. In Wakanda, Shuri worked without sleep for 72 hours, converting every piece of vibranium technology into a planetary shield network.
If we can disrupt his signals, maybe Galactus won't find us.
The Sanctum Sanctorum became a war room where Doctor Strange and Wong searched desperately for realities where Earth survived Galactus. They found none where the Surfer remained loyal. Thor returned from space with the Guardians, rocket-carrying weapons he'd been developing specifically for cosmic-level threats.
Always knew we'd need bigger guns.
Even the Eternals emerged fully, abandoning their policy of non-interference. Ikaris and Gilgamesh stood beside the Hulk and She-Hulk. Druig used his mind control to coordinate global evacuations. Phastos shared celestial mathematics with Earth scientists, showing them how to calculate the exact moment of arrival. Spider-Man swung between the preparations, his spider sense in constant agony from the approaching threat. Then, on a Tuesday that started like any other, the Silver Surfer arrived. The Surfer descended through Earth's atmosphere above the Atlantic Ocean, his board leaving a trail of silver fire that could be seen from orbit. Every defense Earth had prepared activated at once. Wakandan energy shields flared to life, creating a patchwork barrier around the planet. The sorcerers of Kamartaj opened portals, ready to redirect the Surfer's energy into empty dimensions. Captain Marvel led an aerial assault with Thor, War Machine, and the Eternals flyers. The battle was magnificent and hopeless. The Surfer moved through their attacks like they were rain. Captain Marvel's photon blasts, powerful enough to destroy warships, simply absorbed into his silver skin. Thor's lightning, channeled through both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, danced harmlessly across his board. When Ikaris tried to match him in aerial combat, the Surfer gestured casually and transformed the Eternal's cosmic energy into flowers that dissolved in the wind.
Please, I can see traces of who you were. Norrin Radd is still in there.
For one heartbeat, the Surfer paused. His blank eyes flickered with something that might have been recognition. Then the oath reasserted itself.
Norrin Radd made his choice. I am what remains.
The ground battle was equally devastating. When the Surfer descended to disable Wakanda's shield generators, Shuri, as the new Black Panther, met him personally, channeling her brother's memory and courage.
My brother once said, "A man who has not prepared his children for his death has failed as a father. You, who prepare worlds for death, have you failed as a herald? A man without choice is no man at all. You're a slave, calling yourself a herald."
The surfer's response was to place one hand on the ground. The power cosmic flowed outward, and every piece of technology in a 3-mile radius simply stopped. Not destroyed, not damaged, just drained of the fundamental forces that allowed them to function. Wakanda's shields fell like curtains. Above Earth, space itself began to distort. Galactus's world ship emerged from a fold in reality, and with it came the true understanding of humanity's insignificance. The ship was visible from the ground, a mechanical moon decorated with the archaeological remains of 10,000 civilizations, each a trophy from a world consumed. Galactus himself stood on the ship's observation deck, a being of such magnitude that looking at him directly caused normal humans to forget what they were seeing even as they saw it. He didn't speak. Beings like Galactus don't need words. He simply began to feed. The process was horrifically beautiful. Streams of golden life force rose from Earth's surface like reverse waterfalls. Oceans began to recede. Plants withered instantly. In cities, people felt their very life essence being pulled skyward. But Earth's heroes had one last gambit. Doctor Strange, Wong, and the Eternals Phastos had been working on something desperate. Not to stop Galactus, but to redirect him. Using a combination of celestial mathematics, Infinity Stone residue, and multiversal portal magic, they created what Phastos called a cosmic shell game. As Galactus fed, they began opening portals to uninhabited star clusters, to nebulae rich with stellar energy, but devoid of life. They couldn't stop the Devourer's hunger, but they could try to trick it, to satisfy it with cosmic energy instead of life force. The Surfer, sensing the deception, moved to stop them. But something unprecedented happened. The combined weight of Earth's heroes, not their power, but their sheer determination, began to affect him. Not the oath, which remained unbreakable, but Norinrad himself buried beneath. As he raised his hand to destroy Strange's spell, the Surfer hesitated. Not from rebellion, he couldn't rebel, but from something else. Exhaustion. The toll of serving absolutely, of watching billions die while feeling everything, but able to change nothing, finally caught up. The Silver Surfer, herald of Galactus, destroyer of worlds, collapsed. His silver form fell from the sky like a meteorite, crashing into the Atlantic where he'd first arrived. The feeding stopped, not because Galactus was satisfied, but because without his herald to focus the power cosmic, the process became inefficient. The Devourer of Worlds looked down at Earth, scarred, partially drained, but still alive, and made a calculation. This world had cost more energy to feed upon than it provided. With a thought that reshaped local space, Galactus and his world ship vanished, seeking easier prey. Earth survived, but at a cost that would define the next age of humanity. The Atlantic Ocean was 60 feet shallower. The Sahara Desert had doubled in size. Entire ecosystems were gone, and with them, hundreds of species that would never return. Nearly 1 billion people experienced what reporters would call life drain syndrome, a permanent fatigue from having their essential energies partially consumed. Wakandan submarines retrieved the Silver Surfer's body from the ocean floor, his form still radiating trace amounts of power cosmic. In Wakanda, they built a tomb of pure vibranium for him. He wasn't dead, beings of power. Cosmic don't die easily, but he wasn't alive either. Trapped in eternal stasis, his silver form caught between loyalty and conscience, unable to resolve the paradox of his existence. The world rebuilt, as it always did, but now humanity knew the truth. They were not special, not protected, not chosen. They were prey that had gotten lucky. In the depths of space, Galactus still hungered, still searched, and would one day return. The universe had seen Earth survive once. It wouldn't be surprised a second time. Captain Marvel established permanent deep space monitoring stations. The new Sorcerer Supreme, Wong, created mystical early warning systems. The Eternals finally abandoned their secrecy. working openly to prepare Earth's defenses. Every hero, every nation, every enhanced individual knew the same truth. Survival today didn't guarantee survival tomorrow. From his observatory beyond space and time, Uatu the Watcher observed with something approaching sorrow. In infinite realities, he'd seen the Silver Surfer rebel, seen him rediscover his humanity and turn against Galactus to save Earth. But loyalty held absolute.
In this reality, the herald never betrayed his master, and so the Devourer never stopped hungering. The universe learned that honor without wisdom is not nobility, it is tragedy. The Silver Surfer kept his oath and lost his soul. Earth kept its life, but lost its innocence. And Galactus remains eternal, inevitable, insatiable. Some victories are merely the postponement of defeat, but for a species as young as humanity, sometimes surviving another day is victory enough. They fought not because they could win, but because the alternative was extinction. And in that choice, the choice to resist even when resistance seemed meaningless, they proved that even prey can bear fangs.
The stars continued their ancient dance, indifferent to the drama below. Somewhere in the void, Galactus searched for his next meal. On Earth, children grew up knowing the sky could open and devour them. And in a vibranium tomb, the Silver Surfer lay frozen between duty and damnation. A reminder that sometimes the greatest tragedy isn't betrayal, it's blind loyalty to a cause that consumes everything you once fought to protect. The universe was vast, cold, and hungry, but Earth, scarred and afraid, endured for now. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows of what might have been, remember to hit that subscribe button and join us for more explorations of the infinite, wonderful, and marvelous possibilities.
I am the Watcher. I observe all that transpires across the multiverse. In your reality, the Silver Surfer betrayed Galactus to save Earth. But in this timeline, an unbreakable cosmic oath bound Herald to master forever. This is the story of what happens when loyalty becomes a prison and Earth faces a hunger that cannot be turned away.